it's time to wake up. Kincaid and Sal Tunis is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincaid and Andrew Salchunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Hey, guys, what do you want to talk about tomorrow? Let's try to figure out while we do the promo. Minutes later, Sean Mannion, Vic Fanio will speak to the media at 2:30 today. All right. We got our show.
Sounds good to me.
On the Friday of Memorial Day weekend? Sure.
Sounds really good to me.
Why not? I hope everybody enjoys their 3-day weekend. The weather obviously not necessarily cooperating. What else is new? Memorial Day weekend down in the Jersey Shore area. For those of you who like to make that trip.
It's like clockwork that the Jersey Shore is going to suck.
And it's going to be beautiful next week. Like next week, I think Tuesday is going to be like 75 and sunny down the shore.
Imagine if we had the heat wave that we had earlier this week.
Oh, it was 75 degrees down the shore every day during that heat wave. Perfect. Nope.
But we can't have that.
Nope, we don't get that.
It's unbelievable.
All right, well, we'll have some fun with some Jersey Shore talk, regardless of what the weather will look like, as it is the unofficial start to the summer. It felt like it earlier this week weather-wise. Doesn't necessarily feel like it today. I'm looking at John. You're wearing like a nice thick sweatshirt, the Fanatic sweatshirt. I'm rocking a sweatshirt. Connor's got a hoodie on. Austin's rocking a hoodie. Sean, I think, is rocking one of his furry costumes. I don't know what he's rocking back there, but we're all dressed warm for today.
Sean came in dressed as one of the Power Rangers today. I didn't realize that was part of the furry thing.
I didn't know that it was either.
But it's I guess it's an offshoot of the furries.
Well, we're all here today, and we hope you join us at 610-632-0975 because there is plenty to react to, some clips to react to, and then a couple questions that we'll throw by you. So let's start with Sean Mannion. You'll hear from Vic Fangio later on this hour because he also spoke, but he's been here. He's old news. Vic Fangio's old news. Sean Mannion's the new flavor of the month, Johnny. And we got to hear from him for the first time. And it was interesting. I was speaking to somebody yesterday that covers the Eagles. And I asked him, like, hey, are you surprised that he's talking today? Or why did it take so long? Was my question. And he responded with, it's not that it took so long. I'm surprised that it's happening today. I'm like, why? Well, AJ's still on the team.
Correct.
He thought that they would wait until after the A.J. Brown trade happened to avoid any uncomfortable questions. Because if you remember when Nick Sirianni was first hired and he had his press conference that didn't grade out all that well, Carson Wentz was still an Eagle.
And he had the uncomfortable navigation of that.
Multiple questions, and he had to speak highly of Wentz because what if a trade doesn't happen? You can't,
And it was Zoom.
Yeah, it was weird. That was a weird setup.
Which really was the whole thing, too. And Nick's first press conference was horrendous. But it was weird because I remember I came in the next day, that Monday, and I came in with a bunch of quotes where the press conference was getting ripped. And everybody was ripping the press conference and everything. And then I said, good, you read those quotes? I said, those were the quotes from Andy Reid's first press conference.
Right.
And I read off the writers that left those quotes. And I said, don't put too much into the first press conference.
Yeah, never do. And
because sometimes guys just suck at press conferences.
Yeah.
And by the way, Andy Reid didn't get much better. He stunk at press conference.
No, he never did.
Because he didn't care.
Nick hasn't really gotten better either. He has had good press conferences, but he does a lot of the sandwich talk where he says a really nice thing about somebody, and then he kind of fits in the critique in the middle, and then he has to wax poetically for another 20 minutes about the same player. But Sean Mannion spoke yesterday, so first and foremost, there's not so much to take away to say they got their guy or this guy's going to stink. I remember when Kevin Patullo spoke for the first time, we came in here the next morning saying, all right, he sounds professional. We know nothing about the guy. He sounds professional. Really, it's going to come down to what is his brain doing? How's the clock ticking during the field?
When the clock is ticking, is this guy going to be able to react under pressure? We found out that he sucked at it. But that first press conference, he didn't win me over.
He just sounded professional.
But he didn't lose me.
Yeah. You're like,
he didn't
okay,
lose me.
All right, this guy knows football.
I said, okay, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now that he's not going to be a buffoon. Well,
he was. And one of the things that kept on coming up last year that, you guys probably got tired of me hearing it. I'm not just talking about our audience. I'm talking about you, John Kincaid, and you, Connor Thomas. Was me constantly complaining about the word identity coming up every week.
Well, it was the buzzword of last year, though.
Like week 13, I was hearing Jalen Hurts saying we need to find our identity. It was week 16 when I heard the offensive coordinator say it. It was going into the playoff game where they were talking about identity.
We're still trying to find our identity.
Like, what? You guys were that bad that you didn't even know what you wanted to do. Like that's problematic. So the word identity popped up again yesterday, as you can imagine. Here was Sean Mannion talking about the identity of the Eagles offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing we want our offense to look like is we talk about play style a lot. You know, playing with great effort, great physicality, being great teammates. So I think it's when you turn on the tape, what does the Eagles offense look like? Those are the things we really want to stand out, just as a broad strokes.
Yeah. He told me nothing.
No, I was not. Well, I get what he's saying. Like, you want a team to be able to say, man, they're really good at doing this.
But what did he tell you about the identity?
Oh, he's not going to expose that information.
But I mean, he couldn't tell you anything.
No.
We want to be dynamic. We want to be diverse. We want to be. We want to throw multiple looks at people. We want to make sure that when teams are preparing for us, that they have a lot of stuff on tape that they never know what we're going to pull. There's so many things you can say without giving away your game plan.
Well, good thing it was a 24 cut sheet press conference.
Yeah, but I did.
Mannion.
I'm going to tell you. Yeah, there's 20. There, he spoke a lot. I
wasn't really expecting much.
I was, but that's my foolish thing. I was expecting more. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, we can get to that with the people.
Yes.
Now, here's another clip. Now, this is the one that I was waiting for pretty much the entire time, was whether or not it's going to be his offense or a collaboration, right? Because that's been the biggest thing with this Eagles team. And you can't deny that it has worked in terms of getting to 2 Super Bowls, winning every single season. But when Kellen Moore got here, we all thought, all right, this is going to be Kellen Moore's offense. And remember, Nick Sirianni had such a weird offseason leading up to week 1 where at first it was Kellen Moore's offense. Then as the OTAs went on and training camp went on and press conferences continued to go, the terminology always changed. It was, well, it's my team. I might tell Kellen what I want to do. He'll call the plays. Then it was, well, it's both of our offenses.
Right.
It kept on changing. The first press conference was Kellen Moore pretty much has the keys to the car. And then it just kept on changing as the offseason went. And then last year, when they bring in an totally inexperienced, inept offensive coordinator, it was the group effort because you knew that Kevin Patullo couldn't run the show. Sean Mannion is looked at in very high regard around the NFL. Forget what we say. Around the NFL, the people that cover this league think that Sean Mannion's going to be this next big thing. So is this Sean Mannion's show or is it a collaborative effort? Here he is talking about the Eagles offense on what has worked and what they might do moving forward.
Yeah, that's a great question. Kind of like I spoke to before, it's a blend. It's a blend. And obviously there's things schematically that we're bringing. There's things that the Eagles offense has really thrived with doing in the years past. So, in terms of the verbiage, the terminology, it's a process of seeing, hey, what makes sense to keep? What are things that, with some of the new changes coming in, need to change? So that's something we've looked at really from day one, understanding kind of the background of the scheme here. What are some of the things we want to add? What are the things we want to tweak? And how do we build kind of the language of our offense? But that's been a great process. It's there's elements that are new and there's elements that will remain in terms of terminology. But that process has been a lot of fun because ultimately, like I said before, it's all about bringing something to the table and then how can we continue to make it better? How do we continue to build it, streamline things? And that's really the whole process of the language of the offense, is really a good example of kind of where that takes place.
All right. I may be known to overreact sometimes. Shocker. Sometimes I overreact. Is it unfair or wrong of me to say I don't want any more blends? Like, can I have a new, fresh, completely different looking offense?
Yeah, that's unfair.
Why is it
because
unfair?
They've had success. They won the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. I get it.
The success, they were the 30th offense in the NFL last year.
Yeah, I'm not saying Kevin Patullo, But I am saying like what Nick Sirianni has been able to oversee. I don't want Nick Sirianni running the offense. I don't want him instituting the offense. But there's an undeniable bread and butter for the Philadelphia Eagles over the past, let's just call it 5 years, that has worked pretty consistently in certain things they have done. I don't want to scrap everything.
My problem is eventually you get figured out, and they got figured out last year, right? And in 2024, we could talk about how successful the ground game was. Was it that they had incredible run concepts? I'm sure some of it was that. Or was it because the offensive line was healthy for an entire season, and they're one of the best offensive lines? And if they gave Saquon Barkley, one of the best running backs in the NFL, a marginal hole to hit, he did. Like, was 2024 some incredible offense, or was it big man beats down little man, and one of the best running backs in the NFL had success behind that offensive line?
It was physically asserting their will.
Yeah,
and it wasn't a matter of scheme. It wasn't a matter of this coach out-coach the other coach.
Right.
It was physical will. It was the will of the people that was determined. It was, we're going to impose our will on you. But the problem becomes with that is you got to have a second act. You have to have a second pitch. You can't just rely on one pitch.
Right.
And they were a one-pitch pony last year.
Last year, they did the same stuff. It was basically copy-paste the same offense, add in a hitch route. Like, it was like the same, it was the exact same offense last year. And when it wasn't working, they waited till the Chargers game to try something different. And it was horrific, right? Like, Hurts, there was 5 picks or 4 picks in that game. Like,
now 2 of them were...
Yeah, well, AJ dropped one, shocking.
AJ, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, AJ had a bad game.
Great effort there, AJ.
So it wasn't all on Jalen, but it looked horrible because they tried implementing this whole new offense out of nowhere. You need an entire offseason to do that. Kurt Warner told us that. Like, you can't just change an offense in the middle of the season. You have to try to implement that throughout the course of an offseason. Well, you have the offseason right now. You're in it. Sean Mannion's been here. Right, like, they didn't hire Sean Mannion yesterday, and yesterday was his introductory press conference. He's been here for quite some time now. He has his coaching staff. He has his beliefs. He's talked about as this Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan guy. I don't need Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan branch to also have to play Nick Sirianni's offense.
Yeah, Nick Sirianni should not have a branch on a tree. If there's a tree with that has McVay and Shanahan on it, there's absolutely nothing, because Nick Sirianni would be nothing more than a weed to that tree. He would impede the growth of that tree. He would be the thing that you would go get the pre-emergent for to make sure you kill it off, because there is already a great plan in place. You hired a man to come in here and do a job. Let him do the damn job. Let's no interference. I don't need on top chefs. I don't need Nick Sirianni coming in with an apron on.
No.
To go tell him how to make the what's the meat where they put it in the phyllo dough, the fancy one that they're always cooking on Liv's shows. They were always cooking like meat inside of like bread, and I'm like, what the hell is that? There's like a beef something.
Talk about jelly beets.
There's like a beef dip. By the way, it looked delicious. I must say,
fantastic.
Wellington,
Beef
Wellington. I think it was called. They always were making it. And I'm like, well, what are they doing that? They were challenging them to do this. I don't need Nick Sirianni on Top Chef.
Now, I'll disagree a little bit with you there. Okay. Because you've seen 2 guys here have pretty good success under Nick Sirianni, and Shane Steichen and Kellen Moore. Both went on to be, to this point in their time, successful head coaches after that. I don't think Nick Sirianni's building like this coaching tree where he's creating these guys. But I do think we have enough evidence to say if you get the right guy in there, he stayed out of the way enough that they could be successful. So I don't think he's a weed impeding. I just don't think he's exactly the water that's growing.
I'm also not even just looking at Nick. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to say something that might piss some people off.
What's that?
I don't need it to be Jalen Hurts' offense either.
I agree with you.
The offense is going to look the way Jalen wants it to look.
Yeah, I don't need that.
You know what, Jalen? It looked like crap. I almost cursed. It looked like crap last year. Like, it sucked. So I need people to be uncomfortable. Like, I need Jalen to be uncomfortable. And if there's anybody that's going to do it, it's Jalen. Like, I believe in Jalen Hurts to go into this new offensive system and to do whatever he can to make it work. Do I believe that he's going to be elite at it? I don't know. We'll
you
find
have no idea yet, but you want to see it.
But I don't think Jalen's a guy that's going to turn his nose to it. Like, no, I think Jalen's a guy that wants challenges. I think Jalen is a guy that also appreciates the person that's coaching him, that kind of like Nick Castellanos with Rob Thompson. He didn't really like him because he never strapped it up. right? Or whatever. He carried the stick or whatever term he used. Like, I'm sure Jalen may respect Sean Mannion a little bit more than Kevin Patullo. So if Sean Mannion's telling him to do something different, I hope Jalen says, yeah, sure, let's do it.
People find that really horrifying, like what the idea that, like the Nick Castellanos thing, is that Kellen Moore could stand there in a room in a conversation with Jalen Hurts and could say, hey, they both were highly recruited top quarterbacks at Division I programs.
Yeah.
And played in big games, national television games. They have a commonality to them. Sean Mannion and him can both talk about being NFL quarterbacks, can talk about the whole idea of understanding that. Sean Mannion can talk to him about being a starter at a top program in college football, in a prominent conference. That conversation never could go on with Kevin Patullo.
Right.
It just couldn't. And as a position coach, I think it's more important than as a head coach. As the head coach who's the overseer of the whole thing, I don't think that conversation is as important. As the guy who's teaching you day to day, I think it's really important.
All right, now one more clip to play in this opening segment. You can climb in at 610-632-0975. Our question for you, we'll have some Friday fun leading into the 3-day weekend. Do you want a totally different looking offense, or are you okay with a blend of what has worked in the past? And look, I get it. I might sound crazy. Connor, you're saying I'm a little over the top.
Yeah, you're a little nuts.
They won a Super Bowl with what had worked, but what had worked 2 years ago, I don't know if it. Well, I know it didn't work last year, and I don't know if a blend would work this year. Like, I kind of want to see a completely brand new offense. You're not going to have the same player. Your offensive line's not the same. Your offensive line coach is not the same. I don't know. I don't break down offensive line coaches.
Ask the head coach why he's not here, too.
But from everybody's account, him and Stalin, not the same necessarily ideas.
Yeah, they're not.
You're not even checking the tag in the T-shirt yet. Like, this could be, you know how you have those cotton blends? This could be a 90% Mannion, 10% what they've done blend, and I'm fine with that.
I don't want the thing is, though, why do I want, if I'm bringing in a McVay-Shanahan offense, why do I want to put in any kind of a Sirianni blend to it?
How have the Eagles done against Sean McVay?
That has nothing to do with it. Nick Sirianni's offensive genius is not on display at all.
They've had offensive stuff that's worked at times better than that team.
Yeah.
It's not overall.
Open hole, Saquon.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley running through an open hole. It has nothing to do with Nick Sirianni drawing up strategy.
That did not happen by accident. There are principles of this offense that do work. They're not nearly enough.
But Nick Sirianni, it has been when the Eagles have won under Nick Sirianni, 2022 and 2024. How have they won? They've won by time of possession. They've won by brute force. They've won by the brute force. We beat you at the point of attack. That's how they've won. They haven't won by any kind of offensive strategy or mindset that Nick Sirianni has brought to the table.
It's not just Sirianni. Those principles have been built over.
All right.
And he ran off the guy that created the greatest advantage they had.
Way too harsh on this.
One of the things and you can't even deny this, Sirianni's obsession with being safe.
Oh, it's obsessed.
It's an obsession.
He's obsessed.
And last year, it showed, like, we're going to be super careful. We're not, and I get it. More turnovers than less turnovers, probably a bad thing. I understand that. But you have to be able to keep defenses honest. You have to be able to keep them guessing. And last year, they did not have to keep defenses guessing. They ran the same 3 plays, pretty much. We all figured it out. So will this offense be creative? If you're coming from a Shanahan-McVay tree, when you watch any Niners game or any Rams game, hell, the Niners game where they beat you in the playoffs, there were a couple plays where you're going, man, our offense would never do that.
How about that? Was it the fourth down play that they got the touchdown on, or was it a third down?
I mean, look, I don't need wide receivers throwing touchdown passes all the time.
Yeah, but I mean,
they tried things.
It was a creative play call, a design of a play that was absolutely spectacular
that the Eagles would never have done last year.
At a ballsy time that caught everybody off guard, out-coached. Absolutely out-coached.
So here's Sean Mannion on being creative.
Yeah, that's absolutely a huge part of what we want to do. We want to make sure that as many different elements of our offense that they fit together, that they look the same, and that they, how do we build this wide array of things that kind of start off of a similar type of look. So I think a lot of it goes into the planning throughout the week, looking back at weeks past, looking back at seasons past. Hey, what are other things we've shown from these type of presentations to the defense, and then being creative, thinking outside the box. That's where I'm really excited about the group of coaches we brought in. Everyone's been bringing outstanding ideas to the table. It's a really group of guys who are very intelligent, very creative, really work at it, study all these different things around the league and college. So again, we can always look to add new elements, but the piece you spoke about of marrying the run game and the pass game is critical to our offense. But it's been a really fun process leaning into that as we're building this thing.
All right. Cut down on the ums, but he's going to get there. That was his first time.
Yeah,
his first time.
I thought he did a good job.
His first time.
I thought
good job. I thought he's trying to elicit give you a feel for what he's got.
Yeah.
It's I usually fall in love with first press conferences. I didn't fall in love with that one. Like usually I'm so thirsty.
I know you
for
are.
what Sean Mannion's bringing to the table,
especially because he's not Kevin Patullo.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, coming up next, we'll get some of your immediate reaction to this at 610-632-0975. Do you want a totally different looking offense, or are you okay with the blend because of what's worked in the past? We'll discuss that coming up next. Also, one talking point is how Jalen will handle this new offense. Oh, he can't do this. He can't do that. Well, Sean Mannion spoke about what he believes Jalen Hurts can do. Also, we are going to build the perfect beach day by vote. We explain more coming up next. Connor, have fun. It's Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It's 6:30. Got some summery tunes as it is the unofficial start to the summer this weekend, even though it won't feel like it at all.
No, it's not going to feel like it.
It's so funny. So I just FaceTime my family as I do every single morning, 6:21 break. I FaceTime Christy and, hey, Coop, what's up? And we start talking. Coop fell off his bed last night for the first time. Big moment in his life.
How did he deal with that?
Came into the room around 4, which is right when the alarm goes off, and says, can you kiss it? I go, yeah, you got it, buddy. So he bumped his elbow. But
lucky that's all he did.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, all right, Christy, did you pack up yet? Yeah. And it's all sweatshirts and sweatpants. Like, it sucks.
It's going to be terrible.
I can't wait to go down the shore to be freaking miserable.
Well, you're not going to make it that way.
Nope, we're going to have fun. Lithuania
exactly.
Day. I'll send you all the pictures.
Lithuania Day tomorrow.
Yeah, can't wait, man. Got a bunch of treats. I gave Andrew DeCecco a cheesecake bar yesterday.
A cheesecake bar?
I saw him yesterday later on in the day.
Okay.
I was like, here, try one of these Lithuanian delicacies. I don't know if he liked it. I haven't asked him. We'll find out.
A cheesecake bar.
Oh, yeah, man. All right. Sean Mannion, we played some of the clips from his press conference last segment. We'll get to the Davis Honda text line here momentarily at 610-632-0975. Do you want to see an overhaul of the offense from the play calling, the strategies, you name it? Do you want to see a complete new offense, or do you want to see the blend and what's worked in the past for the Eagles mixed with my ideas? Because I remember hearing that Kellen Moore say that 2 years ago. It worked.
They won the Super Bowl.
They won a Super Bowl. But let's be honest, weeks 5 through 18 weren't his ideas.
And let's not do revisionist history. They had to scrap everything. Yeah, they had to scrap the blend because Nick Sirianni's ideas were terrible.
It was pretty bad.
Atrocious.
It was pretty bad. Now, one question for a lot of people.
Got the feel of Edward Scissorhands.
One question for a lot of people, and it's a very fair question.
What's that?
Even the biggest Jalen Hurts fan, I would hope, would be able to respond to said question. You are a big Hurts honk.
I am. I think so.
One of the questions is, can Hurts handle this style of offense, right? Because we have heard from numerous reporters that Jalen Hurts is not the biggest fan of pre-snap motion.
Correct.
Right? Like that goes back to college.
He hasn't done a lot of that. I think it's one of those things where you talk about what you're a fan of is what have you done a lot of?
Yeah.
He hasn't done a lot of that.
He's not a big pre-snap motion guy. Does not like being under center because he doesn't like turning his back to the defense. All these things, right? We've heard all these things from all these people. A lot of people immediately go, well, that's just sour grapes from the coordinators that got fired.
Could be.
I don't know why.
I would actually sort of believe it.
But why would Kellen Moore, according to reports after 2024 season where they were talking about the way Hurts likes and doesn't like the offense, why would he have sour grapes? He got a head coaching job.
Correct. Kellen Moore should thank Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, sure.
There should be no sour grapes when it comes to Kellen Moore.
No,
because
I don't think there is.
Kellen Moore he's the head coach of the Saints mainly because he was blessed to have been able to have that year with Jalen Hurts because he had gotten passed over for 3 different head coaching jobs.
Absolutely.
Before coming here. So
can Jalen do it? Here was Sean Mannion talking about what he believes Jalen Hurts can do.
Yeah, Jalen's been awesome. I really think he can do anything we ask of him. He's accurate. He's a great athlete. He really attacks the fundamentals. That's what's been really fun to watch these last 2 weeks of phase 2. He's always coming, wanting more things to work on, wanting more things regarding fundamentals, timing, understanding the scheme. He's hungry for more, and those are the guys that are really fun to work with. In terms of skill set, though, he has great arm strength, great accuracy, obviously a tremendous athlete, and he really attacks the game. He has a great process in the meetings. He always asks really, really thought-provoking questions. He's detailed and attacks his fundamentals. He's always a guy who stays after practice and is working on things. Those are the guys you love to work with.
That's what something that was very, very evident when you would hear Nick Saban talk about him. Mm-hmm. He was a guy who stayed after practice. He was a guy who put extra time in the film room.
First to arrive, last to leave.
Jalen Hurts always had that reputation. It was obviously earned. And work ethic matters. Now, the question is, can you implement? Those questions are fair.
Yeah.
Those are very fair questions.
Like, is he good at it?
The idea, though, the question that I do not think is fair is the desire question.
Yeah.
Because the person who's putting in all that extra work, the person who's doing that, they're obviously making the effort to try to grasp it.
And he mentioned thought-provoking questions. But again, I don't know if Hurts was able to have certain conversations with Patullo. Certain. I don't know. Like, Jalen can say, Sean, what do you see here? From a quarterback, I couldn't do that with Patullo.
No, because Kevin Patullo can't relate. They can't speak in the same level.
He could do it with Kellen Moore. He could do it with Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson, former quarterback. I know it didn't go well toward the end, but those were conversations.
They could have.
It's like, we'll use this industry for an example.
I've told you about it.
I've talked to people that never did this part behind a microphone. They try to give pointers, and you're like,
no.
Well,
no.
All right. And then there's the person that had done it, and you go, all right, I'll listen to that a little bit.
I've said it to you before. Yeah. And it sounds to people sometimes like, wow, you're not being coachable. I have had program directors that have been behind a microphone, and I've had people that have been put into the role of program directors that have never, ever been behind a microphone. I can't take direction as far as how I do this job from people who've never done it. I just can't, because they can't teach me a thing.
Right.
They can't tell me anything. They've never understood live bullets. They've never understood that. Whereas it's not something that you could teach me theory.
Right.
I hear it from a lot of my kids that when I teach at school will tell me things that they're taught in class, and I'll say, with all due respect, I would ignore that advice that you were told. And I'm saying, I'm not telling you to ignore what that every teacher told you, but either take my advice or take their advice.
And then they go to the other class and they say, don't listen to that Kincaid
I'll say,
guy. He has
no
idea what he's
whether a
talking
professor who hasn't done it or a professor who's done it.
Yeah. All right. What do we have on the Davis Honda text line? Fuel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. And we are expecting the Davis Honda text line to be used heavily today because we are going to build the perfect beach day by popular vote. We'll get to that in a second.
So we're not doing the democracy.
No.
We are doing the democracy.
Well, yes.
We're doing a democracy.
Yes.
This texter checks in, says there's always going to be a blend when any change is made. Every team in the league runs similar type concepts because football is football at the end of the day. It's what tweaks of concepts you can make a great coordinator.
And remember, Nick Sirianni wanted to build off of what worked in 2022. He did not want to change anything. Look at what happened in 2023. Last year was basically copy and paste what the Eagles did in 2024. That won them a Super Bowl. Duh. But then you run the exact same offense. What are the top paid defensive coordinators in the world going to be able to do? Figure out what you're doing. If you're doing the exact same thing, that's multiple weeks of data.
And you don't have to. You don't have. It doesn't have to be a blend. When you're talking about a head coach, it doesn't have to be a blend.
Right.
The New England Patriots. When Bill Parcells won his Super Bowls with the New York Giants, They were a team that had an offense that was very, very similar to the Philadelphia Eagles under Nick Sirianni. They were going to physically impose their will with their offensive line.
Yeah.
Whether it was Phil Simms or Jeff Hostetler in the two Super Bowls, they were going to have a very limited passing game, use the tight end a lot. They were going to be not very, very protective football.
Yeah.
Bill Parcells went to the New England Patriots. They draft Drew Bledsoe, the worst team in the league. He takes over New England, one of the worst teams in the league. He hires Ray Perkins. Ray Perkins is his offensive coordinator back at the time. It's a little history lesson. But Ray Perkins comes in.
Great restaurant.
Yeah, Perkins Pancakes, yes. I think that Tiger Woods loved it. And Ray Perkins had a completely different offensive philosophy than Bill Parcells, the head coach. Bill Parcells, the Super Bowl winning head coach.
Yeah.
And Bill Parcells told Ray Perkins, I hired you. Here's the keys. Do your thing. There didn't need to be a blend. It was, we got Drew Bledsoe. We got this. You have an offensive philosophy. Here, do your thing.
Yeah.
I don't have to be involved. And Bill Parcells stayed the frick out of it. And he hired Ray Perkins. And he says, you use what you got.
Man, I almost slipped once. You've almost slipped once.
Yeah, you guys got to hold it together.
6:40 in the morning. I almost dropped a shh, and you almost dropped a f.
It was a holiday weekend.
It's 6:40 in the morning.
Well, it was funny. It's back in the days at
Eagles Talk is back, baby.
Back in the days at ESPN Radio, Bill Parcells used to, he'd make the rounds and he'd be up there to do SportsCenter. And one of the fun things would be when they'd say, do you want Coach Parcells to come in for a hit? And it'd be like, sure, absolutely. And one of the things that he would come in and he would absolutely say, okay, I had to come in because I was listening earlier and you know nothing about football.
Damn right, man.
And he would come in, whatever the host was, and he would abuse you about what he thought you didn't know.
Me and
but
Bill
it was
would be
fun.
a couple of football guys.
Yeah. He'd have a field day with you.
All right. Here's what we're doing today. By popular vote, we are building the perfect beach day. We'll have a different topic once an hour. So, Connor, the reason why I apologize to you ahead of time is you will be tallying every text that we get.
Oh, my.
I will handle YouTube. John, you get your emails and whatever,
okay.
whatever it is, we will make it work. So the first topic by popular vote to win the perfect beach day is the best pizza of the Jersey Shore points. Now, look, we're not talking about California pizza. Hell, we're not talking Asbury Park for those of you who go up there. We're talking about our Jersey Shore, the Wildwood, Ocean City, Stone Harbor, wherever you go, Brigantine, you name it, wherever your Jersey Shore point is. So you have to tell us which specific pizza shop it is. So because I'm nostalgic, I'm going to go, even though it's now Manco and Manco, I was always a Mac and Manco guy. So one vote for Mac and Manco. Johnny, I know you're not Mr. Boardwalk Pizza, but you have to have a favorite.
How about this? I'm going to abstain because I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
I don't have a favorite at all.
I hate Boardwalk. I hate Boardwalk pizza. It's crap.
Down the shore.
What?
I hate Boardwalk pizza.
I am working with two communists today.
No, Boardwalk
dude,
pizza
you're working
sucks.
with two different people who just don't do that.
They just suck. Boardwalk pizza sucks.
Oh my God!
I don't think it sucks. I just don't do it.
Both of you.
Plenty of people will like Boardwalk pizza. They just don't have an educated palate on pizza.
I'm a big Andres guy in Brigantine, but Manco and Manco, or formerly known as Mac and Manco, is my vote.
Now, the idea of pizza back at the house after a day at the beach, might be a place from a local
having
spot.
It delivered to the beach.
That could be. Well, that's a whole other.
All right, I'll vote Domino's.
Oh, no.
You want to give me a vote?
I've been to that Wildwood Domino's before, late at night. It
hit.
Oh, after Dogtooth, the bar right across the street, and then you go to Domino's afterwards.
Thought this was democracy.
Dude, hell yeah, man.
I'm sure it hit.
All right, your number one pizza spot, the most votes by the end of the show, that will be the perfect beach day beach pizza. 610-632-0975. We have one in the 7 o'clock hour to get to, 8 and 9. Coming up next, Mannion, not the only coordinator that spoke. Vic Fangio spoke. Did he squash a report from early in the offseason? Also, Connor, you got to take a drop off your board. It's Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
48 here on Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Man, the weather's really a bummer for this, but happy unofficial start to the summer. MBD on our YouTube chat. One of our questions for you today, or one of our goals today, is to build the perfect beach day. And our first one is the best pizza at any shore point. And MBD's wondering, is Atlantic City a shore point? Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Why wouldn't it be?
Who asked that question?
MBD, our man on the YouTube chat.
MBD, what's going on?
Like, I get it. People think of casinos when they think of it. Like, I was talking to Austin about it during the break. He goes, well, people might think of casinos first. But there is water. There is sand. You might have to avoid some stuff in the sand, but there's sand.
It's not even the...
There's a boardwalk.
It's not even the northernmost shore point. I mean, there's shore points above it.
Yeah, it's a shore point.
It absolutely is.
All right, have we...
it used to be the shore point that was bigger than all of them.
Oh, yeah. And then times have changed.
Back when your grandparents were great-grandparents, probably.
What has been like the number one so far on the text line?
Mac and Manco's / Manco's top one. Sam's Pizza Palace has 2 votes. Romeo's has 1. And Michelle's Pizza has 1.
Okay. Had the Romeos.
Okay. All right. It's going to probably be a Mac and Manco versus Sam's. Like that.
I would think that's what it'll come down to.
It'll come down to those two. Those are the two.
And maybe if the winner could actually start adding some cheese and some and more, a little more sauce.
It's unbelievable.
Be great.
It's delicious. All right. Vic Fangio also spoke yesterday, Johnny. And remember, there was a lot of hoopla, a lot of hoot and hollering about how he might retire.
A lot of fake news we now found. Fake news.
Well,
being
he's
reported.
getting up there in age, so I get it.
No, but it was fake news.
Like there was a lot of concern about the future of Christian Parker, who's now the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Like, people were like, man, should you move on from Vic so that you don't lose Christian Parker? And I'm like, if Vic wants to coach for another 10 years, Vic is coaching for another 10 years. And then there's the report that he was contemplating retirement. It was the very first question that was asked of Vic Fangio yesterday, and here was his answer.
No, I wasn't close. I've had those thoughts, and the last few years. Every year at the end of the year, I just think about it, and I never really got serious to where I would have done it. It's no different than I did after 24 season, after 23 season. I mean, I told the players the other day that, we had our annual physical. We get physicals as coaches, and the docs told me I was reverse aging with my lab work and everything that came up. So I told them, you guys are stuck with me for a long while. I still like doing it. I like the group of guys we have. I like working with them. I still like the challenge of the job, work for a good organization. Really, it's just something that I think you'll always think about at the end of the year. But in the end, I didn't come close to doing it. And I really don't foresee myself doing it. I'm good for 2 years.
A lot of fake news was being reported. Fake.
It was just,
it was fake.
It was like aggressive that he was really, really considering retirement. Then here he is saying, nah, I never did, and I won another 2 years.
There were a lot of fake reports out there. People were running with a fake story that did not exist. So when you talk about things where people say that they don't trust media reports, I kept saying to you this about it. I didn't trust it. Like, I didn't trust the reports of him being like he was going to walk out the door. It didn't seem right to me, because it was like the whole thing being drawn out didn't seem like a guy like Vic Fangio. But there were reports that it was true, and they were coming from people, and they were very throaty about it, that, oh no, he's close. Nah, it was all fake. All fake. So this is where you get rumors like that and reports like that, and you understand why fans sometimes look at it and go, wow, some of these reports are just a bunch of BS.
Well, you know what is BS? You know what is fake?
What?
Connor, you got to delete it.
Cooper DeJean is not a safe.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
You got to delete it.
It's got to be deleted.
That has to go into the trash, dude.
Because he is.
Vic Fangio yesterday, one of the big questions for the defense, other than the annual, do they have enough bodies at edge rusher, which with the addition of Jonathan Grenard, you feel pretty good as long as Nolan Smith is available.
And not like driving the team bus.
That's what I'm saying. The safety position, right? You're like, all right, well, Reed's gone. They didn't want to pay him the $8 million. And Drew Makuba, second-round draft pick, but his biggest issue has been health, and that was in college, and it became a factor in his rookie season. And they don't really have much else. They have Marcus Epps, who played pretty well for them last year for what they did. Like, he was practice squad and He had to suit up. He played pretty well to just be thrown out there. But Cooper DeJean is an option. Here's Vic Fangio.
Marcus is someone that will have put up good claim to it. In base, it will be Cooper. When we go to nickel and Coop comes up and plays nickel, it'll be Epps. We're taking a good look at Michael Carter back there. Who else am I forgetting? Yeah, Andre Sam. And then we signed an undrafted free agent, Gush. JT Gray has been mainly a special teams player, but
he talks about the 7 guys that are on the roster.
Right, exactly.
Cooper DeJean will be your safety in base defense. Now, the term base defense is, the 4-3, and you have the 2 safeties.
And how often are you in base?
The new base is kind of nickel. The terminology is the terminology, but nowadays in the NFL, there are typically slot receivers on the field almost every single play.
Correct.
So I still expect, last year, Cooper DeJean played 97% of the snaps, and he was the nickel corner pretty much the entire time. So Cooper DeJean, I still expect to play majority of the time at nickel over the course of the season, but it's good to know that he's going to be on the field regardless, because a lot of people still think he can kick outside. You're paying Reek Woolen $15 million. You're not paying him to sit on the bench. Or if you are, that means he's not playing well. So, DeJean, you have to delete the
No,
drop.
it's never leaving. He's not a primary safety. Until he doesn't play nickel anymore, that drop stays.
All right. Coming up next, we'll get more of your answers on the pizza. The number 1 pizza down the Jersey Shore as we build the perfect beach day. We have a second one that we'll bring up next segment, a second topic to get into.
I would have liked the question, do you actually just have to pretend you like Boardwalk Pizza?
You're despicable.
Got to pretend.
I love it.
This is the best pizza ever. Isn't it great?
Let people enjoy things.
Coming up next, you'll hear more from Vic Fangio, but on a totally different topic. A very, very knowledgeable baseball man. Will John Kincaid have a problem with Vic? It's Kincaid and Saltunis, 97.5 The Fanatic.